original front guys were up there. They probably had some other. By the way, 2 drummers. We don't need 2 drummers in any band. I don't know.
That's not necessary.
What's up with 2 drummers ever in a band? Like it's like just pick one.
That cuts everybody's pay by like 7%.
Like can we get rid of Mike? I mean,
Grateful Dead. Any of these bands with 2 drummers? Not necessary. You can have a percussionist and a drummer, sure. Guy that's gonna hit some chimes and shit, but not 2 straight drummers. It's like stupid.
Those are 2 bands that are just like, we can't cut Jeff. We can't cut him.
Right.
We like him too much. We can't cut Gary either. We're fucked. We're keeping these guys.
You're right. If you're doing chimes and the xylophone, okay.
Yeah. It makes sense with the Dead.
Gong. Yeah, good. Yeah. You're in.
And the gong.
Oh, yeah, that's in the video. Yeah. They make sure they put the gong in the video. It's like, bing. But with the Grateful Dead, it's almost like they just never got around to firing it. And they like doing drugs with both the drummers. Right. So they're like, yeah, we're keeping you guys.
We're going to do Space. And he's going to really get into it. So Mickey Hart gets in.
And they kind of figure that like there's always one guy that's not going to be able to show up every night. So 2 drummers makes sense.
Yeah, so it's a smart move.
We'll keep them both.
But anyways, they were phenomenal. Like, and they did every song you wanted them to do, and Mike McDonald songs and ones that it sounded great. It was phenomenal. It was like amazing, and they did this whole tour. So he's still touring. Did
Michael come out with them?
Yeah,
he did.
Dude, they played every song you wanted them to play with, including Michael McDonald songs. So this whole thing's like, I don't know, I'm not working. It's like you just did a world tour with the Dewey Brothers.
Yeah, dude,
crazy.
I mean, it's better than my last tour. I'll tell you that.
Man, that's pretty nuts.
But that one other interesting thing, and I thought they were gonna maybe touch on it more. That I think is cool. Is they came mostly, if not all, white musicians. Even though Questlove says there was Yacht Rock, that black musician, George Benson, for instance, and
the Pointer Sisters,
but they came from this place of jazz and R&B influence.
Yeah.
And then it does come full circle, and they say, because then the rap world, they didn't just they went straight into Yacht Rock, and we're like, we're taking all this, De La Soul,
the first one, the hell out of it.
I remember
Lord Tariq and that one song that was huge where they're in Yankee Stadium. They sampled a lot of it, and they show the Warren G song and stuff, and it's so it does come kind of full circle.
The Warren G in the 90s, I was too cool for school, and I was I was not appreciating Yacht Rock. We didn't call it Yacht Rock or whatever. Right. And then when I heard Warren G sample I Keep Forgetting by Michael McDonald, I was
so good.
It is so good, but I was also like, what are they doing? I'm like, they're out of samples. That's what I was feeling. I was like, they're down to these songs, somebody needs to pick up a guitar because this is getting crazy. But obviously I was wrong, and it's a dope song. And both of them are. It was huge that summer. It was huge that summer. I still say when we are with a group of people and we're leaving, Regulators, roll out. Even though I'm not even sure those are actual lyrics to the song. They say something like that in the beginning.
I think that's DMX, that one, but I'm not sure. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
I did want to say I wanted to start with this is that I think we get close to an actual definition of yacht rock in the documentary.
Oh, yeah.
And the best explanation I heard was it's like jazz musicians with jazz chords and jazz chord changes making pop songs.
Yeah.
Right? So and back then rock was pop. So it's like these pop songs out of with jazz musicians. And it's most notably, and the way the documentary lays it out, it kind of starts with Steely Dan.
Yeah.
Because they were just 2 guys who had, 50 musicians rolling in and out of the studio to make an album.
So many. And it was very technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guitar solo on that one song, that super hit song, it was like the 7th guy to take a crack at it.
Yeah, he's in the doc. I think it's Peg.
6 guys came by and blew it.
It was Peg, yeah.
And then one guy comes by and just shreds it first take.
And the guitarist from, I think, his Vampire Weekend.
Yeah.
He goes, I can't play it. And it sounds simple when you hear it. You're like, but then when they said that, I watch, I go, oh, that does seem a little complex.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Because he was just saying, dude, the guy's bending 2 strings at the same time.
Yeah.
And just the way he was talking about it, I'm like, well, obviously, if you're a total guitar nut, you're like, what?
Yeah, he said he couldn't do it, really.
Yeah.
This guy.
He said he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He said there's like one guy.
He says
"There's
no one
probably a
can
guy
do it."
somewhere.
Yeah. And no one's ever heard of that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's not famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was tons of street cred because you got Questlove from The Roots. Mm-hmm. And people don't understand The Roots are not just Jimmy Fallon's band. Like, they used to be a hip-hop group. They still are.
They still are, yeah.
But now they play, like, there's shots of them with, like, the sea captain's hats on.
But Questlove's is like a curator of the history of music. Almost.
He sure is.
Yeah, like he's
interviewed everywhere.
If he's speaking on music, he knows. Speaking of that, if you put everybody on the planet who knows about music, he's in that 0.0001% of history and methodology and theory. That's the word I was looking for. All that stuff. It's like he knows his shit.
He knows his shit, and he's in every single documentary about every single genre, including, it's ironic, but hip hop is almost the most foreign to him because there's so many samples in hip hop and he's a musician. I actually, side note, in Boston in '95, tried to get on stage with The Roots and freestyle because I considered myself a rapper back then because I was in a rap group.
Wait, like unauthorized? You tried to get on stage?
Authorized.
Oh, okay.
So The Roots were playing, and they're like, okay, now we invite the audience to come up one by one and freestyle.
Oh, so
and
okay.
I'm trying to get up there, scared as shit.
Sure.
Not really wanting to get up there, but back then I was like, I was a say yes to life kind of guy.
Right.
And I was like, I'm getting on the stage with The Roots, and I'm gonna fucking freestyle. And thank God I didn't make it because I probably would have choked.
And Black Thought to me is top 5 in my world of hip hop, is like top 5 all time. Like, he's underrated.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know when people are like best lyricist ever. I'm like, some people have him on the list, but and you don't have to have him in your top 5. But you should be top 20 of anyone's list.
Uh-huh.
And people are like, oh yeah, he's pretty good. I'm like, no, he's really good. I don't think you're listening. Like they did an album with Danger Mouse a couple years ago called Cheat Codes that they were working on during COVID. And then they come out. Just listen to that album. That album's like insane. But anyways, yeah, that would have been embarrassing for you. Is my point. Like in front of them.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
But this one white girl did get up there and like just killed it.
Yeah.
And so that's like, it's almost like a comedy show. There's no room for me after that.
Yeah.
All right. You're like, I'm done.
Oh, she did good? No, I'm not
She
getting up
crushed it.
there.
It was like, yeah. In Boston. If you're getting love in Boston, you're good.
Right.
What year was that?
This is 1995.
Oh, it was way back. Oh, that's like their first album.
Yeah.
Tour. Yeah.
They were very
You Want
young.
More.
Very
Isn't
young
that the
group.
first album? Yeah. Yeah, they got me through college, man. Like cooking in a restaurant. I'd listen to the Roots in the back. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the footage from Jimmy Fallon, and it might even be like a commercial break, but Ice Cube's on, and they do Straight Outta Compton.
Oh. Live? The music
Or
live?
Fuck the Police, one of those. And so Ice Cube does a verse, and then I guess Black Thought probably takes a verse, and then the guitar player from The Roots, or I think he's new as soon as they were on Jimmy Fallon, I don't know for sure, but the guitar player throws off his guitar and he takes like the third verse, I think the Eazy-E verse.
Oh, shit.
And it's pretty fucking awesome.
That's
I've
tight.
never seen that.
Oh, Google it when you get home.
Yeah.
Google it if you're listening. It's so fucking cool. And then another thing I wanted to say is that guy Thundercat. You'll love this. Guess what band Thundercat was in from 2002 till 2011? He's the I guess the bass player to Suicidal Tendencies.
Of course he is.
Which is like a thrash
pretty
metal,
awesome.
which at that point is a thrash metal group.
Sure.
So you gotta love
That's
these.
hardcore.
You gotta love these musicians who are like,
I didn't know that.
well,
Wow, I didn't know that.
That are so
I got so much bad respect for that guy now.
so eclectic.
Shit.
Like he's just
He's just a musician. He just likes
Yeah.
music.
I didn't even know Suicidal Tendencies was still touring.
They're
first
still
of all.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to skate a lot when I was a kid, and that was like skating music.
Right.
That was,
for sure.
Like,
It's what we called skate rock back in the day.
Right.
And
Suicidal Tendencies and
children should not have been listening to Suicidal Tendencies.
That's pretty accurate.
no.
He had a song called "I Shot Reagan." The FBI,
shot Reagan,
the
I
FBI
shot
had
the
to
Pope.
we're obligated to investigate him after that.
Yeah.
Sonic Youth. That was another one I would listen to
Yeah.
when I was skating. I was just
Nice.
thinking, but they weren't as they were in a different realm, that they weren't doing the same thing.
We're talking about Agent Orange.
yeah,
We're talking about Black Flag.
Agent Orange, yeah.
We're talking about like these hardcore
And I remember
hardcore punk rock bands.
Island Water Sports was my skate shop, like in Miami.
Yeah.
And they had free cassettes that to take a Rage Against the Machine.
Oh yeah.
Like by the register. That was how they marketed it. They were like, oh, here's a cassette you might like.
They gave
I
away
had
their,
that.
their cassette.
It was 2 tracks on
I think it was 3.
Oh, okay.
Honestly.
Yeah, maybe it was 3. But it was so smart because you're like, free. I mean, you're a kid and you had no
That's
money. It was
brilliant.
like, free shit. Then
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, this fucking
This-
era is so awesome.
Yeah, and the skate punks are gonna play that all day.
I kind of heard it like just kind of casually when I was in college, my freshman year of college, and it was just "fuck you, you won't do what you tell me," and I was like, "All right," I was kind of like done with punk rock, and I was like, "Oh, it sounds like punk rock, whatever." And then I got to then I went to see House of Pain play in Baltimore, and Rage was the opening act. And I was like,
Wow.
it was like getting baptized. It was like, this is my fucking band, dude.
Right.
Because for some reason,
What a bill.
No shit.
it really was. For some reason, I thought it was going to be the stereo MC. I thought Rage Against the Machine were the stereo MCs. Want to do it again?
I like stereo machines. Nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, so I was like, that seemed more appropriate to like
Yeah,
House
yeah.
of Pain,
Plus, you're not gonna. I feel like they'd blow House of Pain off this. House of Pain's got 2 songs.
Well,
and 1 really. So like,
House of Pain must have been tired of following Rage because they did not go on that night.
oh really?
They went. Danny Boy came out. And he goes, the security guard hit my girlfriend. Or was it Everlast came out? Security guard hit my girlfriend. It's fucking bullshit. We ain't playing. And everybody's just like, fuck you. It's Baltimore. We're like
right.
we're like Bakersfield in a way, Craig. Like we tore the
For
place
sure.
to pieces.
Well, I was gonna say, not to mention that was like that's their band.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean?
I mean, like Irish and East Coast.
well,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. And
It's like the Pope came to a Catholic church and said, "Fuck that! I ain't doing nothing for Jesus.
yeah, exactly.
I ain't talking about Jesus today."
We were so excited to see House of Pain,
course.
and they just didn't play.
That's not even a good, like an excuse that no one cares about in the audience.
I mean,
is that what happened?
Fuck your girlfriend. Yeah.
it kind of made sense
Yeah.
to me for my entire life until I started touring with big acts, comedy acts. And I'm like, nobody I know would not go on because of something that happened backstage.
And
For sure.
And again, anything could happen. I find it hard to believe that a security guard wouldn't have known that was someone's girlfriend. Like when you walk in,
Right.
They're everybody in that theater is like, okay, that person's allowed. That like people. Like
Right.
they wouldn't
Yeah.
be like, "Who's this bitch? I'm gonna knock it."
Or I'm gonna
Like,
smack this bitch.
like-
Yeah, totally, dude.
But I that reminds me of when I was Monsters of Rock was a tour. I don't know if you remember.
Of course.
The first
Metal?
tour was
The Metal? Yeah.
First tour. Van Halen was a headliner. Sammy Hagar.
All right.
But it was Kingdom Come. Do you remember that band?
I remember the
Vaguely.
name.
Jason Bonham's band. So
I
it was
saw-
like a Led Zeppelin kind of
Right.
ripoff.
I saw that on a lot of jean jackets.
Yeah.
Kingdom
exactly.
Come.
Yeah. Metallica
Hey.
was second. They were about to release Injustice for All. Master of Puppets was out, but they were about to become. That was that first step, and then the Black Album.
After Cliff had died.
Yeah, and then it was Dokken after Metallica. You see where I'm going with this already, right?
Chains
And then
around
Scorpions
me.
was after them. Scorpions, fine, they can hold
That's
their own.
cool,
But
for
Dokken is
sure.
not good enough.
No.
So- and I did not know anything about Metallica, but my friends I went with, they're like, this band's amazing, and they played mostly Master of Puppets, and then they played One and stuff off Injustice for All. And I remember being like, wow, we could just like leave now. Like after it was so good. And then Dokken comes out, hey everybody, what's up? And everyone's like,
Oh.
the fuck out of here.
They followed Metallica.
Yeah. They were like, come on, guys. Like everyone's like, this sucks.
Right. And now for No Balls.
Yeah. At least the Scorpions came, like their singer was, I forget his name, but he was a man, and they got hits. Dokken was
for
like,
sure.
Dokken was set up there like a fucking sacrificial pinata. Like, get the fuck
Fucking
out.
Dokken, the only thing I know about Dokken is they played this song from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I knew of them. Obviously, Dokken is somebody.
Yeah.
Like the guys, anytime they name it after you, like Dio.
It's Don Dokken.
So he must have been in like Deep
He's a
Purple
prick.
or something. Or
Guy's
what do you know
still
about?
he's
What do you
still
know
a
about
prick.
Dokken?
Well, I mean, my first concert was Dio.
Yeah.
And when he came to town, Dokken opened up for
Yeah.
him.
It's the last name tour.
And so, so Don Dokken,
Don Dokken. Okay.
he's the lead singer of the band.
Yeah.
Great name.
And he's still just this pretentious prick. You're like, dude, you got 4 fucking songs.
Yeah.
And all of them, I used to listen, I'll admit, I used to listen to Doc until one day I go, God, these are all fucking love songs. I'm like 15. I've fucking not been laid before. I don't even know what the fuck this guy's talking about. He's like 35. He's like, what, does he work at a bank? Like, I mean.
But at that time, Dokken was bigger than Metallica.
They were huge.
And so their ego was, I'm sure at the beginning of the tour, like,
Yeah.
we're not going on after fucking...
Right.
Before Metallica. And I'm sure midway through the tour, it's like, hey, what do you, maybe... we got shit to do. Maybe after Kingdom Come, we come on and do a little
Right.
Put the Scorpions on. I don't know.
I know people that saw Metallica and they had like Faith No More opening for him. And he was like, dude, people threw their shoes at Faith No More. He goes, who's a great
Faith No More's
band.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, but you're going to like walk around barefoot at a concert because you hated the band so bad you threw your fucking shoe?
I guarantee
Like, that's
you,
insane.
everyone regretted that.
By the way, you said Deep Purple, and not to bring it back to Yacht Rock, but
Please.
did you catch that in the documentary?
I
No.
did.
Christopher Cross?
He filled in for Richie Blackmore.
Yeah.
That's
When?
insane.
What year? What year? Like the 80s?
Dude,
Something
I
like
forget
that.
what year, but they made an announcement because he was the first live show he hadn't played, and they said, "Hey, what's his name again? The guitar,
Richie Blackmore?
Yeah, they got Richie Blackmore's not here tonight. If you want your money back." They made an
Yes.
announcement. You got this guy Christopher
Yeah.
Cross.
I remember.
But he said a few people left, but he said 80% people stayed, and he filled it. I was like, Christopher Cross.
That's insane.
That means he
It was
can,
Deep
he can
Purple.
shred.
That's why he had the electric guitar.
and he can play metal.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not picking up on
That's kind of crazy.
I remember that part of the documentary. I did not realize it was Deep Purple.
Yeah, it was Deep
That's
Purple.
like saying he's sitting in with Black Sabbath practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like,
yeah.
Oh, dude.
Right.
So he should come out with a rock out, like a hard, like now.
Dude.
He should come out
Right.
with
Right.
like reimagined, sailing reimagined. Like,
And I would love a cover of Criss Cross Will Make You Jump. Daddy will make you jump.
oh my God, yeah, do that. Bring back In Sync, do the thing. He could have an album. If I was managing him, I got an album for him. Christopher Cross, hit me up. Be on my addiction podcast, and then we'll get this
sure you
album
got
going for you.
something.
I got it already in my head. I got it all figured out for you.
He wrote, I'm getting the song wrong again. Run Like the Wind? Ride Like the Wind?
I'd like to win.
I
He
didn't
said he
realize that was him or any of the other ones of his that they played.
He said
I love
he was.
all of them.
He said he was driving
On
on acid,
acid.
To
from Houston to Austin,
One of the.
just fucking on LSD,
Yeah.
dude.
Then wrote that
I'm
song.
gonna ride, and then here comes Michael McDonald. Just you know I'm on this song too, motherfucker. You know I'm gonna show up.
Which is great.
Yeah, one of the guys on the dock is like, he's like, you don't sound like an outlaw or whatever. And then he goes, oh, Mike McDonald's on this? Okay. Like,
Right.
For some reason, Michael McDonald brought that like gravitas to it. And then again, in that doc, someone made it was great watching it because it was the stuff I wasn't able to express about Yacht Rock.
Yes.
And they said, somebody said he testifies. That's what's great about Michael
Yes.
McDonald is he sings testify, like the whole, like I think Questlove says he's invited to the barbecue.
Right.
There's a, but when you,
Like a
that is the
gospel
term. That is the
type.
term where he's like, it's like
Right.
coming out and you're like, oh yeah, he is.
He means
He is
it.
letting
Right.
you know about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
I was
He-
like, that's
One of his lyrics was something like, I was born in hell. I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, in a living hell. I was born
born in
this
a living hell.
But it sounds beautiful.
It's
Living
beautiful.
hell.
But I was like, oh, fuck. Mike might have had a rough fucking life.
Yeah, he seems to have the most humor
yeah.
and the best outlook on it all in the interviews and stuff. Probably because he still gets asked to do shit. That's
Yeah, it's probably because he has
why.
Yeah, probably because he has a pile of fucking money.
Because
I'm sure of it.
They call who Dan Fagan is it from
Donald Fagan.
Don from Steely Dan.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we want you on this documentary for your genre of music. And he goes, what genre is that? And the guy reluctantly goes, Yacht Rock. And he's like, yeah, why don't you go fuck yourself?
Did
Yeah.
he really?
Yeah,
It's
there's
at the end of the
audio.
thing, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
But he
He doesn't have a sense of humor, or he doesn't
Wow.
feel appreciated by it.
I think he's famous
That's-
for being kind of
A prick?
Yeah.
like that, like just I think just like strict about their,
Yeah.
and that's about what their music is and how it's perceived and all that stuff. And because even Christopher Ambrosia guys, like at first I didn't like it, but then I got into it. And even Christopher Cross was like, I don't know, but you're
Yeah.
right. Michael McDonald's like, nah, I think it was cool because.
Yeah.
Going back to that channel 101, the Yacht Rock, which I believe is all that's still up there. If it's not, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
on YouTube. that one of the episodes of Yacht Rock of the original comedy series is he's jogging. Donald McDonald's jogging, the actor. And then he runs into Kenny Loggins and he goes, "Hey, did you hear my new song? I keep forgetting." And he goes, "It's going to go to number one." He goes, "I don't think so." And he goes, and he bets him $1 that it's going to go to number one. And he goes, topping off at number 5. And he goes, "Oh shit, here's your $1, Kenny."
Yeah.
Whatever. Then they flash forward to where he's jogging again. That's why it was brilliant the way they wrote it. He's jogging, and Warren G has just gotten talked down to by Dr. Dre. And he's like, "You got to come up with something smooth. You're not a gangster." They hit Michael McDonald with a car.
Yeah.
He wakes up in Warren G's house with Nate Dogg, and he starts playing on the keyboard, and he goes, "That's smooth," and he immediately starts rapping to it, and then it goes, "Now at number 1, Warren G and Nate Dogg with Regulate," and he goes back to Kenny Loggins, "You owe me $1." My song went to number 1.
$2.
Great episode. Yeah.
That's pretty great.
So if I'm telling you, you should watch
Those guys. That looks really funny.
They really put thought and time into the writing, and
They had time. I'm telling you, comics had time back then.
Yeah.
They weren't podcasting. And they weren't doing like shitty videos every day. They would like actually make something.
Right.
You know?
Let's make little shorts.
Can we talk about the fact that Thriller is actually a Toto album?
Yeah, 100%.
Like Toto.
Because that's all
is
the guys that
band.
were on the band and that played the music?
And we'll just throw in some Eddie Van Halen on Beat It.
Right.
Yeah,
How cool is that?
But again, there's an episode on Yacht Rock where they address that. But it's a Precaro Brothers, or the drummer, the keyboard. He also wrote. But what was it? I don't remember because I get them confused. Or Steve, Jeff, whatever. Precaro.
Yeah.
One of them wrote Human Nature. And,
so they play the demo of this guy from Toto, his version of it before Michael Jackson got a hold of it. It sounds the same, and I think they let him produce it.
Well, the voice isn't quite as good.
No, it's
obviously,
not.
But
it's not. But like it sounds. The music sounds the same.
So he's still getting royalties from that.
Yeah, and he's I think they let him like reproduce it from Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And we had on the podcast I used to do with Jim Jeffries, I don't know about that. We had Steve Lukather on one of our episodes because one of the co-hosts, Kelly Zabilski, she is friends with his son or daughter. So one day she's like, "Hey, I think I can get Steve Lukather from Toto on the podcast." And we're like, "Yeah, get him out. What are we going to talk about?" Because that podcast was we have experts on and we talk about a subject.
Yeah.
That was the format of the podcast. So we had to come up with something. And we said, how about just recording music? That's what he did forever.
Yeah.
And almost all of the guests we had on there were professors. So if we had a professor on about Vietnam War, I would do a pre-interview with him where I'd say, "Here's all the questions I'm going to ask. Anything bad or good? Oh, take this one out. Put this one in.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about this." So we did a little bit of that. I tried to keep doing a pre-interview with Steve Lukather. He's like, "I do a podcast. Don't worry about it." Super chill. He's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll be fine.
Ask me anything."
Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, but I kind of want you to know the questions and." Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. And then when we get him on the podcast finally, he had been doing press for this new album he had all morning. And he was like shot too, right? So he was just tired. And he gets on there and I'm like, "So when you're recording, like how do you adjust the levels?" He goes, "You just get a guy in there, he does it." And he wasn't being a dick at all. He was just like, "What are these dumb questions?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is why I wanted to do the pre-interview."
Yeah.
But engineer handles that.
So it just evolved eventually into like, let's just hear some cool stories. And then he had like so many cool stories. So that's a great episode of I Don't Know About That with Steve Lukather. Because that's, in the end, it was like, just tell us some cool fucking stories about Michael Jackson and making Africa. So like he did that in the end, which was really cool. And it's a fun episode. But it was funny because he was like, "What the fuck is this podcast?" I want to answer these levels.
Levels?
Just go in there and play the fucking guitar. Somebody else does.
He's like, "I don't know. Ask your engineer. What the fuck? Ask Aaron."
But it's cool seeing him on that because he had the same kind of attitude he has on the doc.
Yeah.
Like at the end, he goes, "I just call it music."
Right.
He goes, "I just call it work." That's what I do. But you look at those guys from Toto though, because of Thriller. And because they were session musicians and all that, like the royalty checks they must get.
I'm telling you.
Must be great. I'm hoping it is for them because they put in everything.
They definitely got something when people were still buying records. So that brings you all the way to about 2000. Pretty much. I don't know. When did you guys stop? I stopped buying CDs around like 2000.
I still buy CDs.
Like 13, 14.
I buy them. I'll order them online. They cost nothing now.
Yeah.
They cost nothing.
And you put them in your car, and now you're not like on your phone flipping around and stuff.
You listen to the whole thing.
No, I upload it and then
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
check it out. You
Right.
know, like I got a bunch of old country albums.
True.
Because I was just like, oh yeah, I don't have any Hank Williams anymore and all that crap.
Yeah.
But I know where you're going with this. But if human nature is synced for a television show or a movie,
Right.
then Percaro's getting money.
I'm sure you're
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
I hope.
Yeah.
So let's say they're like, we need this in a movie, and we want $500,000 for it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's and Michael Jackson's are probably whatever.
Expensive.
Yeah, so he's
That
probably
shit's
getting
expensive.
a chunk. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like he wrote the song, so it's
Yes.
I'm rooting for those guys.
Yeah, yeah.
So the
You
lyrics,
you start loving these guys,
yeah.
you know, and they really are talented and great songwriters.
so it turns out that you get more money for the lyrics. If you wrote the lyrics,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going to get more money than the guy who wrote the song.
Crazy.
Okay.
And then there's certain bands, like my buddies in Korn, they're just Korn. So everybody
Yeah.
gets the same amount.
Right.
But then you see Billy Corgan saying, I wish I would have done that.
Yeah.
He took the lyrics money.
Yeah.
And so that kind of made the rest of the band pissed off at him. Because, like, he's living fucking large.
Same with Nirvana.
And they're like, yeah, we got to go on the road again. Cause
we gotta form a side project without you.
Yeah, exactly.
Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that makes. I guess he didn't write the lyrics then because the demo is just him going. So I think maybe Quincy Jones wrote the lyrics. I don't know who wrote the lyrics.
Yeah.
Maybe Michael.
Oh, to Michael
knows?
Jackson? Probably not. Yeah, it's probably a whole other dude or Quincy Jones.
Because
But-
Quincy Jones is the one that hired Toto.
so Quincy's the producer, so he makes the chunk.
yeah.
He's also, because that's back then, that's that system.
Yeah.
That's a system. That's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
It's not a band. You know
It's
what
a
I mean?
producer's like medium.
Yeah.
But he is the one, at least in the doc, where he hired Toto. Like,
Right.
one by one, he's like, I'll get Steve in there. Get
Yeah.
you.
Right.
Next thing you know,
yeah,
it's
he's
all
the
a Toto,
boss
yeah.
for sure.
But
So yeah, I wonder who wrote those lyrics. That's the guy who made the chunk.
yeah, probably not. I don't think Quincy was a lyrics writer. Did you guys write that? I mean, did you guys watch the doc of We Are the World, the making of We Are the World?
I saw that. I
It's
loved it.
insane.
So the only thing I want to say about that versus this is this documentary Fred Armisen is in the whole time, and I'm
Yeah.
always like, I know he's a musician technically,
Right.
But I'm always like, what the fuck is Fred Armisen?
Right.
Like I know he can play drums, but I'm
Yeah.
like, it's fine if you. So in the We Are the World, the doc, which is
Yeah.
amazing. The part
Yeah.
where isn't Waylon Jennings just
Yeah.
walks out.
Oh, yeah.
When Stevie Wonder's like, let's sing it in Swahili, he just walks out.
Yeah.
He's like, see you later, guys.
That's me at the Roots concert.
But the whole time Dan Aykroyd's there. And I'm like, and this is like the A-list of A-list artists singing
Yeah.
We Are the
Sure.
World. And Dan Aykroyd, who again I know was in the Blues Brothers,
Right.
but
That's why.
what the fuck is he doing? Like, what does he do? They're never like, yeah, Dan Aykroyd was there. It's like,
Dan, help me hit this note.
I think, because Blues Brothers had hit #1.
I guess, but
But he still
like,
shouldn't have
dude,
been there.
It's Michael Jackson, Stevie
Right.
Wonder,
Right.
Lionel Richie. Like, I'm trying to think. It was like Bruce Springsteen,
Cyndi
Paul
Lauper.
Simon, Cyndi Lauper. Yeah, Dionne Warwick. It's like
Everybody.
bam. It's like-
Yeah.
Right.
And we'll let
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd. hang
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I'm sure plenty of people were like, oh, okay.
I'm sure there was a group of like 20, 25 people that were just
Yeah.
on one mic
Right.
singing
Well, yeah,
towards it.
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
he didn't get a solo for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, he did not get the solo.
The
But
Bob Dylan one is really fucking weird.
the part of that doc.
Yeah.
It's
they're
hilarious,
Like
but yeah.
Dylan is not confident. He doesn't know where he fits in. And I get that.
Sure.
Like he's not known as like a great singer, even though I love his singing.
Well,
Right.
you see, he's like, why the fuck am I here? Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I got to be here all night now.
Yeah.
But what also is amazing is Stevie Wonder is such a good. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
Bit of a diva in this thing, but he's brilliant. You know,
Yeah.
he's obviously brilliant. You know, you find out he's this amazing mimic where he goes, they're trying to figure out how he does a solo, and he goes, this is how you do it. And he mimics
Bob Dylan?
singing the part, how he should sing it, playing the piano. And you're like, oh, this guy's just a genius.
Let's just get Stevie to do it.
Yeah.
Let's just get Stevie to do it.
No, but Bob Dylan,
Totally.
that's all it took for him. And he goes, oh, okay, I
Yeah.
got it. And I was like, dude, Stevie Wonder's he's amazing.
And it seemed like they just took the first take they could get out of Bob.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were like, that's it. And he was like, is that it? They're like,
Nailed
that's it, Bob.
Like,
That's
can
it.
I go now? Fuck.
And then you're watching this thing and you're looking at it through kids' eyes because you were young in the 80s. And
Sure.
you're like, oh, Bob Dylan must have been about 79 years old during that. But he was really only like 38 or something, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that.
Because
long
he's like 20 and 62. So that means he's like 40,
yeah, you're not
42,
wrong.
43 or something.
But is that after his motorcycle crash?
Yeah, that's in the late 60s.
Yeah, I think he was different after that.
He was much
motorcycle
different.
Crash.
He just looks. He has that look where you're like, how can I get out of here? Oh, Waylon. I should have left with Waylon Jennings.
Yeah, right. That was my out.
But
Well, all these guys are used to being in charge, right?
Yeah.
And now they just got to sit there all night.
Yeah.
To be available whenever they're called on.
Yeah.
And they're also
Right.
like watching other people kill it. And it's like being at the Comedy Store on like Sunday or Monday where there's like
Right.
45 comics going up. And you're
Right.
like, where do I fit into this? I don't want to go up 41st. All this shit. You know, you're losing your confidence. You're losing like your ability.
For sure, dude.
You're losing your patience, your energy.
It's a great doc though because of that.
Yeah.
Especially looking back again as an entertainer. But even if you're not an entertainer, when it was made, you're like, sure, they got all these people in a room.
Yeah.
You don't think about like, how the fuck did they get all these people together in a room?
Seriously.
And they did it the night of an. They sell you right at the beginning. They did it the night of the American Music Awards, like after the award show.
pretty brilliant.
You know, but they still had people flying. But I think it was because it was Quincy and Lionel Richie was at the peak of his career, and Michael Jackson, because they had those three, like Michael Jackson's doing it, people are like, well, I guess I gotta.
Yeah.
If he's
I
doing
should
it, I
be
gotta
there,
do it.
yeah.
Which means Waylon Jennings is probably showing up after a couple drinks, right? Because you're celebrating at those award shows.
He's coked out.
Yeah.
He's had some whiskey, and then he's just like, fuck this.
There's no more coke here.
They got him though. He was in the court. They got him in the chorus.
He's there.
still on the,
Yeah.
But, and they were using what's her name to try and get Prince.
Oh yeah, Sheila E.
Sheila E.
or Sheena E.
Sheila.
Did he show up?
Sheila-
He's in it.
Nope.
No?
No.
He was going to show up, but she says, yeah, it was clear to me they were just using me as bait, even though she was like best new artist or
Right.
whatever. They were like, I got it. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
and you get that feeling too.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's that feeling. It's like, hey, when's your friend gonna get here? Like, is Prince coming?
No, I notice when there's photos of me on Instagram, like opening for Tom Segura.
Yeah.
I get a lot more like, "Hey, why don't you come by? Why don't you be on the show?" You know, he's like, "What's Tom?" I remember one booker was like, "Hey, let's do a Matt Fulcheron and Friends show at the Ice House."
Yeah,
and
right.
he was like, "So you calling Tom, right?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not calling Tom. Tom's got his own shit going on."
That's happened to me.
Yeah,
to get
of
you.
course. Yeah.
And I'm all, yeah, that's why you're being so friendly. Well, thanks for the joints. He lives in New York right now, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I love music documentaries. I really recommend both these documentaries we're talking about. I don't know the name of the We Are the World one.
I think it's like One Night in America or something like that, or
Yeah.
something like that. I forget what it's called, but it's the We Are the World.
You'll
documentary.
find it.
It's on Netflix. I'm pretty
Is
sure.
it Netflix?
And
Yeah.
what is the Yacht Rock
Yeah,
one called?
that's
I
right.
forgot about
It's
that.
called. It's called Yacht Rock.
It's on HBO. It's on Max.
It's a music. It is a music series. It's a music documentary series.
I think it's called Yacht Rock.
I think
And
it
I
is
think
too.
that one is called Yacht Rock.
Honorable mention. There's a couple cover bands that weren't really explored, but you
Yachtly
pick up on
Crew.
it. Yachtly Crew's the best one
They're very
by
popular.
far. Are they popular?
Very.
Because you also have Yacht Rock Review and the Docksiders. All great names.
Docksiders, that's
but
pretty
Yachtly
funny.
Crew is clearly the best name,
That's definitely.
and
the
that's all it
best name.
takes, really.
It's called Yacht Rock, a documentary.
Okay, we were
That's
I know,
pretty
yeah.
original.
we were
Yeah.
pretty close. I was calling it Yacht Rock the documentary. So
It might be that actually.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
And then the other one is called The Greatest Night in Pop.
okay, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the We
yeah,
Are the
yeah,
World,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's
Greatest night. Settle down.
it's on Netflix.
Pump the brakes on that. I thought Live Aid was way better.
Well, you know what's funny is they made a whole album
Yeah.
Did
for
they?
that, and so the rest of the songs were not as grand.
I didn't know they made a whole
There's
album.
It was just Waylon
whole-
Jennings for 9 tracks. Like, looks well, Healy.
Talking about keeping his wife at home. What? I didn't know they made a whole record.
Whaley, you
dude.
left early. You got to do all the other tracks. All right.
If only Ambrosia was on.
Wait, isn't he from Bakersfield?
Waylon?
Yeah.
Merle Haggard.
Merle Haggard.
And believe me, people talk about it. My buddy, this is here. We'll do one quick meth story. My buddy's dad.
Sneak preview.
He used to work for an oil company at a refinery. He was one of the chemists. On the side, he would whip up a batch of meth like twice a year, maybe 4 times
Side
a year.
hustle.
That was his side hustle. And his uncle told him one day, he said, "Your uncle made enough meth from Merle Haggard to power a city for a year." I was just like, that's probably the greatest quote I've ever heard.
Yeah. That's beautiful, too. He's part of the story.
It's pretty great.
He's part of the experience.
I go, there you go. That's a Bakersfield story right there.
And you're from Bakersfield.
Well, we moved there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was
you were young.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, after Mount St. Helens buried our town, we moved there.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What a story.
I know. It sounds like
No
I'm
wonder you
making
did
shit
drugs.
up. Yeah, right?
My dog's from Bakersfield.
Nice.
And I have a joke about him being, someone called him racist, but I can only do this part in Southern California. I'm like, well, he's from Bakersfield, so there's a 50% chance. But that kills in Southern California.
Sure,
But
sure.
otherwise, in other towns, I'm like, what's like a racist town? I'm not racist, but
Yeah.
you could just say it and people will laugh.
Right,
like,
right,
I don't know
right.
anything about Bakersfield. It's something about,
It's accurate. That's accurate.
That's a lot of green room interviewing. Like, hey, what's the racist town nearby?
Yeah.
And they're like, we got about 23.
Yeah, which one?
Thanks for listening to the Full Charge Power Hour. Pledge on Patreon, patreon.com/the full charge. Go to thefullcharge.com for my tour dates. And Forrest, you got the new podcast.
I've got a problem.
I've got a problem.
Got a problem.
If you go on it, be prepared to answer the question, what's your problem? But that's not the name of it. It's I've got a problem. Thanks so much for coming by to the new studio. And we're out.